yeah, I think you should just film au natural. It's okay. And if you feel like there's an opening to have a dialogue, then just weigh in.
And we're playing a game where I ask you a question and then you answer the question and then you give me a question that I ask somebody else. And it's like a kind of a telephone thing.
I like telephone.
You like telephone?
Idaho was my favorite band growing up, and I am now in it, so it's quite important to me because it's a huge part of my life now. It's a big reason I love Los Angeles as much as I do. It's a big reason I write music. It means more than I could ever explain. And that's, I'll maybe cut it there, yeah.
My feeling of Idaho was it was one of the grand gestures of a dying analog world giving way to the digital detritus.
Beautiful, because you'll be surprised when you see the doc how much of a theme that is. I mean,
I would like you to ask what the fuck happened to rock music?
Okay.
And when will it be unearthed again?
Okay, you gotta point to somebody.
It's never left. It's just, it's in hibernation, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what's a question you'd like me to ask somebody else?
I would say, I would ask them what's their favorite Idaho song.
Okay.
I don't know the name of the song that I the one that goes the harder they try. You know, the harder you try. What song is that?
Know how to suggest.
My answer is Live Today Again.
Okay.
That's because we made a music video with that song.
Do you have a question that I can ask someone else?
How has life been since I saw him about 10 years ago?
And what was your name again?
David.
All in all, pretty good. I think a lot of us are hitting our sweet spot. We're coming of age of what we like and what defines us and what we're passionate about, and I think that's the most important thing, is to stay true to yourself. This is one of the things that I'm excited about tonight, is we have a lot of artists and musicians and creative people here. We all need to ask everyone their favorite Jeff Martin moment, because he's the man of the hour.
Okay, can you pick somebody here you want me to ask? Okay, good.
Favorite Jeff Martin moment. Jeff did a demo for me when I was 24, and then I moved to England with that demo, and I wound up getting really lucky and landing all kinds of cool shit.
What are you doing here?
Here to see a movie.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, that's about it. That's the easiest way to say it.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your favorite Idaho album?
Okay. Do you want to point me to somebody you want me to ask?
It's the Hearts one.
The Hearts one?
Yeah.
Great. And then do you have a question I can ask somebody else here? Doesn't have to be someone you know, but just kind of point me in the direction.
Jeff Martin in a band with before he formed Idaho.
Okay.
Is that the question?
Yeah. What was the name of a band before Idaho that Jeff was in?
Drain.
Drain. Okay.
Or the Buffalo Springsteen.
Okay. All right. So now, do you have a question I can ask somebody else
That's not
here?
the question that you were supposed to ask.
That is the question I
I
suppose.
think it was. Who was in a band with Jeff before Idaho?
Yes.
Christy Schnappel. I was. Now my question, yeah, he was. My question that you have to ask somebody is, who's the blindest man at this party?
The blandest man? Blindest man at this party. Okay. Someone asked me to ask you, who's the blindest person at this event? And then, see, I didn't know that, but now it makes sense. You know that. So that was an easy question.
Like, I don't even know there's a tree right there.
Yeah. Okay. What's your name?
Kip.
Kip. So Kip, do you have a question I can ask somebody else here? And then maybe just kind of point me in their direction.
See that blonde girl right there? Ask her who her favorite ex-husband is.
Oh shit, this is gonna get good, right? Who's your favorite ex-husband?
My favorite.
Your favorite ex-husband?
I'm gonna Kip Koenig. It's my only ex-husband.
Right. Okay. Well, then now we know who asked you the question too. All right. Question is, how do you know the band?
I know the band
That's what we do when they traditionally get all together.
actually made the film.
Oh, okay. And what's your friend's name?
Two friends, Mark Davis and Jan Jensen.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course.
And can I ask you the same question? How do you know the band?
Jeff through Darby. And I met Jeff at Darby's house maybe a couple years ago.
Thank you so much. What's your name?
Julia.
And how do you know the band?
We know the band because of Robert Fonzo. He's the introduction.
Okay. And then, would you mind? What's your name?
I'm Meg.
And how do you know the band?
I'm married to Robbie.
Okay. And how about you?
I'm Anthony, and I know the band because I was in prison with Rob.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, here we go.
I was just going to say,
What's your name? Sorry.
my name's Winnie.
Whitting.
I became friends with John Barry back in the 80s, and he was my Idaho connection. Jeff and I have since become friends because that's what happens when you lose a person. I got to be a little bit more chummy with Jeff when John died and he had his memorial at his house. John was an amazing person. That's what I want to say. John was like crazy and adult, and sometimes adult and sometimes not adult. We weaved in and out of each other's lives depending on which one of us was sober at the time, in through the early 90s, and then it kind of stuck, and we were very, very good friends, and I will miss him until I die. And I'm so excited about this. I'm really happy to see him immortalized and people really like touching who he was as a person. He was a great person. So it's Jeff. Jeff to do it.
I can't follow that.
I can't follow that. I talk a lot.
I'm
sorry.
So what's your name?
My name's David.
David? And how do you know the band? How do you know
I'm friends
Idaho?
with the new guitarist. I know Jeff. I've only met him recently, so I don't know. I'm not.
I talk to you.
It's not a contest.
No, I'm just trying to get out of it. I'm just trying to get out of the thing. I said it was a hard act to follow.
I actually want to do it.
I think that was fun. Some people it's much more complicated. Some people it's very simple.
It's fine.
Thank you.
It's fine. Just cut.
We're done. Okay. So, what's your name?
Jen.
And then, how did you come to know the band Idaho?
How did I happen to know about Idaho?
How did you learn? How did you come to know Idaho? What was your connection? How did you learn about Idaho?
John Barry is my son. Was my son.
And what was the story of the band from your perspective? How did you, like, when the band formed? What did you?
It became his reason for living, and he experienced a success that he never and he would show me the reviews. Good friend.
What's your name?
Jenny.
And Jenny, how do you know the band Idaho?
Because my husband used to play guitar in the movies.
How do you really know the band?
I mean, we have kids together, so I know the guitar player pretty well.
What's your name?
Jeff Zamiti.
And how do you know the band Idaho?
I played drums in the band from 93 to 94 and toured with them.
And how do you really know the band Idaho?
From sleeping next to John Barry in his bunk.
Hey, baby.
Okay, here you go. Hi, what's your name?
Steinwin.
And how do you know the band Idaho?
I don't, but I know Mark and Jan, who are the filmmakers.
So how do you really know the band Idaho?
I don't.
Okay, hi. Hi, what's your name?
Jonas.
Jonas, hello. How do you know the band Idaho?
I know the band Idaho because my wife went to school with Jeff and they were best friends.
Okay, how do you really know? How do you really know the band
I
Idaho?
really don't, actually. I have to be honest. I really don't. The name has always been around because I know that that's Jeff's band. But I'm going to be honest here and I'm going to say that I never really actually consciously listened to it. So I'm actually excited to see this movie because I think I'm going to learn more about his music tonight than I might ever would have ever otherwise. So.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Dave.
Hi, Dave. How do you know the band Idaho?
I became familiar with them after meeting Jeff, and then did a bit of a deep dive and found out that they sort of were swimming around in the same circles that I was in the 90s playing indie rock, and that's how I came to know them.
And I want to thank Jeff for being just an incredible person to work with on something like this. You know, when someone opens their life to you and says, do whatever you want, and then doesn't complain or try to change things.
Oh, I tried to change.
I was very
asked you a couple.
But it was good.
There are a couple things I would
Then
like
party
to
at Jeff's
cut out
after
that I
this.
said.
Party at Jeff's house after this, everyone.